Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Algorand's price chart, and seems like that we are going according to the bullish scenario that we talked about in the previous video, because the idea back then was that the price is just getting compressed more and more, and one way or the other, this is going to break. And we said preferably this is going to break on the upside, because there is a chance that we are having a beautiful head and shoulder structure. And I know at the same time I said, look, since we were writing here, we need to be a bit patient and see, are we going to get a confirmed break of this pattern or not? Meaning we go above the neckline, do a pullback, and then a continuation of the move up in order to take test side. And as you can see, it is safe to say that we got all that. So I'm going to argue this head and shoulder is going to do the job and send us up. Now, here's a very important point. For a couple of interesting reasons, I think our move up is going to continue. And reason number one definitely comes down to the target of this head and shoulder, because let's just put the chart on regular scale and then measure the height of our pattern, which is going to be the target. As you can see, this suggests that Algorand is going to reach to about the 25 cents region. And since we're not there yet, makes sense to say this move is going to continue. Now, reason number two, there's also a chance that instead of this thing being a head and shoulder structure, you may see this one also as a head and shoulder. And I'm not here to discourage you from thinking like that, but let me just say this, you have plenty of other reasons to be optimistic. However, if you do not want to listen to me, okay, then you have to. Unfortunately, this is the weakness of this pattern. Wait even a little bit more until we get a move above the neckline, do a pullback, and then a continuation of the move up. And at that point, I think, yep, this means our target is going to be somewhere around the 27-28 cents region, which is also possible. But again, personally, I do like the first head and shoulder that we also talked about it in the previous video a bit earlier. But if you want to consider this, you know what, that's absolutely fair enough. It's your money, do whatever you want. Now, it's very important to understand that all the things that we said earlier are not my primary reason for why I think in Algo we are going to continue our move up. That actually comes down to Elliott's waves. You see, if you want to say that we're going to have our final low around this area, maybe this is like a very important support, then okay, you have to be able to find off of the lowest low a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside. This specific structure is called an impulsive movement. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And when it comes to the sub waves, you probably know it since I'm talking about this in every single update. And by the way, if you are wondering why am I talking about this thing constantly, that's because these days about 75-80% of you guys are new viewers, so I feel like I should talk about the basics of Elliott's waves so you get the idea of what I'm doing. And for those other 20% regular viewers, I would like to apologize for being absolutely boring and repetitive. So we're gonna have basically 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5, and for wave 2 and 4 we can have different scenarios. Let's say show ABC into wave 2 and the WXY into wave 4. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is going on. And in my view, in Algorand, most likely we are having from here a wave 1, correction for 2, good move up into wave 3. This is probably going to be an ABC flat into wave 4, another move on the upside into wave 5. And pay attention, if you want to be optimistic, then okay, fair enough. On a higher degree, I'm thinking this can be actually into a wave 1. I'm going to tell you in a bit why, followed by a correction for wave 2. And then what's going to happen next? You know it. If this is going on, we're going to get hopefully a big move into wave 3 and 4 and 5, which in terms of Elliott's waves can be into a larger degree wave 3, followed by a correction for 4, another move up into wave 5. So you see, in Algorand, if you want to be bullish, then okay, this is probably going to be your best shot at finding a 5 wave, suggesting what our move up is going to continue. And this is one very important reason for why I believe probably from here we are not going to get a move down and take the loss. Of course, there is no certainty in any market at any given moment. We are only talking about different possibilities. So let me just say this right now, in Algo makes sense more to go up as opposed to down. And if you want to be bearish, then okay, that's fair enough. You see, you can consider many different possibilities in here. For example, if you want to say that from this point we are having a correction structure, then okay, this can be ABC up into a correction for wave B and a 5-wave impulsive structure on the upside into our C leg. And in fact, even from the current point, we can get a move down and take the lows. And the moment that we take this important slow down here, at that point, you're going to be bearish with quite a bit more confidence. However, personally, I'm not really a big fan of this count. Why is that? I think we also talked about this subject specifically in the previous video. It actually comes down to what is going on right in here. And in my view, there's a good chance we are having a beautiful looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, followed by a correction up. So maybe this is going to be ABC up, sure, but into a wave A to about this point, followed by that, let's say we are having like an ABC flat into wave B, and then a 5 wave up into our C leg. And this is definitely correction down in form of an ABC. And pay attention, although this whole count is going to be bearish, even this thing suggests we're going to get a move up. Why? Because this count is basically trying to entertain the idea of having a WXY in form of a flat and a zigzag. And let's just delete some waves so you can see the structures a bit better. I said this can be ABC flat into now this wave W, ABC down to about this point into wave X. And what is going on from here? You see, it's very important to understand that in terms of Elliott's waves, for the sub waves of a zigzag, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a correction for wave B, maybe ABC, maybe WXY, generally some sort of a corrective movement, not important, and then another move up into C. Now, let's go on the live chart and see what do we have. I think this is probably a beautiful 5 wave, meaning on a higher degree, odds are this is just an A leg, and the current move is going to be a correction for wave B. And what's next? Yup, you guessed that right. Even according to this bearish scenario, most likely another move on the upside into our C leg. So this, my friends, is the main reason for why I believe in algo we are probably headed higher. And if you just and only want to go according to that head and shoulder structure, okay, fair enough. Maybe our target is going to be somewhere around the 25 cents region, but I think we are probably going to go a bit higher than that. And a good target can be reaching to about this area between 25.5 to around 25.8 cents. And hopefully, we are going to get a break of it. And by that, I mean, we go above it in a very, very strong manner and do a correction in here and get another move up. And at that point, you are going to see me talking bullish in algo with just a bit more confidence. Now, question for you. Should we now consider the bullish or maybe the bearish scenario as our primary case? Well, here is the situation. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good answer for you. And for that matter, I don't think anybody is going to have good answers for you, because this is literally based on what we are seeing right now, a toss-up. Now, it's very important to know that this isn't going to stay like that forever. No, I think the next move is going to tell you a very, very important story. And in case that we get a 5 wave up, sure, but then a move down in order to take this important low. Okay, right now I'm telling you, at that point, think about this WXY, the bearish count, with a bit more confidence. On the other hand though, if, like we said earlier, we get a good move up, do a consolidation and another move, think about the bullish scenario a bit more, because this whole 5 wave up starting from the lows can be into a wave 3, which one very important characteristic of it is what? You know it, being quite a strong and sharp move on the upside. And then you can expect correction for another move on the upside into wave 5. So let's have a quick conclusion and wrap up today's update. In algo, at the moment, a lot of signs suggest there's a good chance our move up is going to continue. Now, just because we are going to go up doesn't mean that we should be overwhelmingly optimistic, because you can consider a bullish and also a bearish count at the same time, and you should do that at any given moment in the interest of being 100% objective. It's very easy for me to come here and talk about the bullish scenario, the 1-2 scenario, suggesting we're going to get a massive bull run in the short term, because let's be honest, that video is probably going to get a whole lot more views. But if I'm only going to talk about those counts and at any given moment be 1000% bullish, I'm gonna do you an absolute disservice. So we are going to talk about different possibilities in each video, and I'm here to tell you now, look, the next move that we are going to get is gonna have a lot of very important hidden messages in it. That's why I think it's actually a very, very important move, much more important than usual. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Algorand's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.